Nigel Howarth and welcome to Shed Sessions Extra. And it's extra special because it's Christmas. And of course we've got Tom Jones here on wine.
Howdy, Nigel.
From Woolley Wine Shop.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you've brought us some really delicious wines, Tom.
Got some gems this time. So, got the menu, the Christmas menu that you've been putting together. Looks absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
And obviously lots of classic dishes. And to go with classic dishes, we've got some great classic wine matches as well. So
Let's start off with smoked salmon.
Okay, yeah. So lovely piece of smoked salmon. Whereabouts is this from?
This is from Dunkeld.
Okay.
Up in Scotland. Well, obviously it's got to be Scotland. And it's just a great, it's an absolutely sublime smoked salmon. And it's not often, I don't think these days you can say that. So it's got a real clean smoke, beautiful Scottish salmon.
Okay.
It really hits the mark. So have a go. We're serving it with potted shrimps. You've just got a little bit of smoked salmon.
Brilliant. But let's see if we can find a nice clean match, something with a little bit of weight to match up to those shrimps as well.
And what would you be matched? You obviously wouldn't go orky, would you, with smoked salmon?
Not too much. So what we've got, if you've been enjoying the canapes that you whipped up earlier, we were talking about matching that with the Autrieu Premier Cru champagne. So a beautiful grower champagne that we sell in the shop. It's absolutely fabulous.
Yep.
If you've got a glass of that left, that'd be perfect for the salmon. But for me...
Tom, you need to get some wine poured. I'm gasping here.
For me, on Christmas Day, once I've had my fizz, I really like to open...
jumper on top for you.
Well, I really like to open a bottle of rosé.
Right.
And at the moment, if you're going to be drinking rosé, what you really want to be looking for is that quality from Provence. Right. Now, there's some beautiful pale Provence rosés, and they're very, very fashionable. But what I've bought for you is the Provence rosé to match with food. Now, this is Provence rosé for those in the know. This is Clos Cibon. It's a very historic estate in Provence, very, very well regarded. They make the wine slightly differently.
Beautiful nose.
And this is a grape called Tiboren, which you very rarely see anywhere else. 90% Tiboren with a little bit of Grenache. As I said, it's a food-friendly Provence rosé. So let's see if it works with that smoked salmon.
Roses are so popular, aren't they, at the moment? And, you know, not just because, I mean, you'd normally... Would you stereotype them and say a lot of ladies would have drank rosé originally, and now it's become much more, you know, everybody drinks rosé?
Rosé's just burst onto the scene at the moment. The last few summers, we've seen a real increase in rosé drinkers, and especially those pale wines from Provence. What I like to do, though, is play around with those wines that have just got a little bit more texture.
That is great with a smoked salmon.
It's a food wine, this.
It's big enough, isn't it? It sort of absorbs and accentuates the flavours.
Absolutely.
Really good.
Very old vines have gone into this, and a little, you touched on oak, they put it in some very, very old oak barrels, so it doesn't add oak to the flavour. What it does is just round it off with that beautiful texture.
I've got to say, I think that is the best rosé I've ever had.
You're not alone. That is Clos Cibon Tiboren Provence rosé.
Beautiful. Right, so what would you, I mean, turkey on Christmas Day, Tom, what would you serve with it? You know, just give me a recommendation.
Okay, so obviously the classic food for everybody to be eating on Christmas Day. Normally, and what we like to default to, and me at home, I'll be drinking white Burgundy. It's got to be.
So you're having turkey?
We'll probably be having turkey. I won't be cooking, so hopefully it'll be a surprise.
Okay.
So we have a couple of matches. White Burgundy is a great one, but I did also have a sneaky little curveball to throw at you as well.
Right.
English Chardonnay. So you probably come across the English sparkling wines.
Yeah.
Most sparkling wines use Chardonnay and Pinot Noir as a base. And some of the estates now are producing really, really good,
English
textured,
Chardonnay.
beautiful Chardonnay.
So got any of that with you?
We do. It's the Guinevere
Let's have a look.
from Gusbourne Estates.
All right.
So these guys are a stunning producer down in Kent, really pushing the boundaries of quality of what can be produced in England. And this is their 2018 Guinevere Chardonnay.
How much, Tom?
This, all right, English wines are expensive,
Tom?
but you know how much you're going to pay for good Burgundy? £28.
28 quid.
That's
right,
not
that's
too
gotta
bad
be
for
good.
Christmas Day.
Let's move on. Right, so beef Wellington's our alternative because because we're so good at Shed Sessions in giving you the stuff. You've got a choice of two main courses. So you've got a lockdown turkey or you've got a big beef Wellington. Now we've actually got the beef Wellington, a piece of it in front of us here, Tom. So
Fabulous.
what
Looks
wines
great.
are you recommending?
Okay, so classic Christmas Day, we've gone for a classic wine match.
Right.
Bordeaux. Nice little bottle of Medoc. So this is Merlot Cabernet Sauvignon blend.
Right.
It's got all the characteristics that's hopefully going to match up with your beef nicely.
Okay.
So, Bordeaux is one of the most classic regions in France and is a great match for beef. But also, with that Wellington element, you've got those, was it little, what were the mushrooms you're using?
Chestnuts.
Beautiful.
Chestnut mushrooms with chestnuts in as well.
Okay, so you've got that slightly nutty note coming through.
Absolutely, yeah. And you've got a little bit of herb-cured ham. I mean, classically it's Parma ham. And then a little bit of spinach, and you've got your puff pastry, you've got a deep red wine sauce, so obviously it goes.
Brilliant.
If you were going New World, before I drink this, if you were going New World, what would you go?
Okay, so when you're looking at beef, often one of the characteristic matches is Malbec. You know, very, very popular. Lots of people enjoy drinking Malbec, but usually you'd put that with a steak. Now, I did toy with the idea of bringing a Malbec with me, but this is a classic dish, and it screams for me classic wine. So, old world, French Bordeaux blend, can't go far wrong. And hopefully what you're going to see is the oakiness in the wine. How old? 2015.
Beef Wellington's good.
Well, let me try that.
How old did you say this, Tom?
So this wine is from the 2015 vintage. So it's got a few years now, but 2015 was quite a warm year. Nice and balanced, but it means the wines are ready to drink now. Sometimes with Bordeaux, you have to wait quite a few years for them to reach maturity. Yeah. This wine should be showing soft fruit and a nice little bit of toasty oak.
It feels, I'm going to be honest, Tom, because I'm not a wine connoisseur, but I've drank a lot of wine in my time. It feels a bit young.
Okay.
But, I'm just giving you my honest.
Yeah.
So how much is that, Tom? What we going in for?
So the Lafon is $14.99 a bottle.
Yeah.
Really good value.
Right.
Easy going Bordeaux.
I'm going right out of it on Christmas Day. I want to spend 50, 60 quid. What am I going on, Bordeaux?
Okay, so if you want to upgrade yourself away from a normal bottle, we've got something a little bit special. Chateau Tournefuil, Lalande de Pomerol. Really lovely little area that often gets overlooked. So you might have heard of Pomerol.
I've heard of Pomerol.
This is one of these wines that sits in that situation where you point on one side of the road and the wine's 20, 30 quid a bottle. You point on the other side of the road and the wine's 200, 300 quid a bottle. This falls right on the borderline between Pomerol and Lalande de Pomerol. Beautiful Chateau Tournefuil, 2016. Drinking brilliantly, $29.99 a bottle.
Yeah, I think I'll get one of them as well. But I've got to say, that is a lovely, lovely wine. Perhaps for such a big dish like Beef Wellington, it's a bit young, but it's a great wine. And what did you say, 17?
£15.
15?
Value for money, 2015.
That's going to be a good one.
And once this has been in a decanter for a while, that'll open up beautifully.
Okay, so I've got two puddings. We've got tiramisu, which is a black cherry tiramisu, and we've changed the brandy to kirsch.
Okay.
Okay, to go with that mountain, black foresty, thinking of Christmas,
okay.
I think. And then we've got a melting Christmas pudding.
Ooh, that sounds good.
So it's a light, melting's probably the wrong, it's a light Christmas pudding, it just melts in your mouth. And we've got that served with a brandy sauce.
Okay.
So, and a bit of cinnamon. So give me a couple of wines quickly, Tom, that you would think of to put with those two.
Okay.
Tiramisu first.
With the tiramisu, what I'm thinking is if you've bought in a few of those spirits, you said kirsch and cherry brandy. For me, I'm getting the rest of that cherry brandy out, putting it in nice little glasses, and just serve it almost as a little shot, just to blast away that big stodgy meal you've just had.
Okay.
That'll
So
liven everybody up. I think so, a little shot.
Okay, and then with this pudding,
the melting,
the light Christmas pudding.
Okay, so we do have a sweet red, a Malbec that everybody seems to be, into Malbec at the moment. And we've actually got a dessert Malbec. So that is a fortified Malbec. So think like a port, I suppose, but made with Malbec. So you get all that intense fruit. It's called Malmado from the Zaccardi family. It is brilliant. It's going to be on my Christmas table for my Christmas pudding, definitely.
Brilliant. And I've got some mince pies here, so I better save a few of these, but have a little try. What would you say with mince pies?
Okay, so one thing we've been working on in the shop for a few years now, a little bit different, not so conventional. When people, used to serve mince pies, back in the day, you might have served a little glass of sherry or a tea or coffee for your guests. What we're trying to push is sake. Sounds unusual. Oh yes, we're going for sake in the Ribble Valley. So what this is Christmas in a glass. This tastes of Christmas cake and marzipan And what we've been saying is you get your guests around, if you can get your guests around this year, have a little mince pie and just serve them a little measure of this and watch their expression and watch their mind really be blown by this fantastic drink.
I am a sake fan. I've got sake. I'm really good friends with a couple of Japanese chefs.
Okay.
And
well, this, to jump in, is not going to be your normal sake. You'll be talking about those dry styles of sake. They're beautiful with Oriental food. This is umeshu, a traditional Japanese style, a bit akin to our slow gin. So apparently Japanese families will make this at home. Right. And this is plum infused sake. So it's very much down the sweeter end of the scale. And that's why hopefully it'll go brilliantly.
So actually sake infused with plums?
Exactly that. Right. Yeah, so like we would steep sloes in gin or something like that. This is...
Great nose on
Can you smell that marzipan coming through?
Yep. Oh, marzipan, yeah.
That's Christmas cake in a glass for me.
It is, right. Got to have a little bit of mince pie.
I think that's going to work brilliantly. I've been recommending this for 3 years, and I don't think I've ever sat down and actually had the combination myself.
Wow, Tom, that really works. That's the best match for me.
I think it's
the rosé comes very close, but that's the best match.
Excellent.
Anyway, Tom, thank you very much for coming and giving your time to spend with us at Christmas for Shed Sessions Extra. Thank you, Tom.
No worries. Nice to see you. Cheers.
Hi, I'm Nigel Howarth. If you like what you've just seen, then subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on social media. Enjoy!